But the fact that the ratings from Caitlin Clark's series to these series fell off a cliff, it should surprise no one.
I'm watching the Indiana Fever game. I'm just waiting on Caitlin Clark to catch the basketball.
AJ Wilson has went crazy over the lack of viewership since Caitlin Clark's exit from
I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try to be the best. I get y'all saying best player in the world. That's great. It looks great. But I want to be the best person. I want to be the best teammate.
She went for an interview and said this. This year is more the year that I've seen anyone call my game boring than it's ever been. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever.
Aya Wilson has went crazy over the lack of viewership since Caitlin Clark's exit from the playoffs.
Not just a court design, though. Your merch can be found everywhere across the WNBA.
Just
getting started. Yeah, and Caitlin Clark just doing a little bit of everything, but moving.
When the Fever got eliminated, nobody was interested in the playoffs.
How do you feel in general? Let's just say the ratings aren't the same with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever now eliminated. Game 1 of the Aces Liberty matchup on Sunday drew an average of 929,000 viewers. Was down nearly 50% from last Sunday's Fever Sun contest. By the way, not only was viewership down, but attendance was as well.
Obviously, this time last year was kind of going through something, so more than anything, just really excited.
Everything unfold. I think she will be laughing at this mess. They could have had the highest viewed playoff.
Clark, bounce pass.
No.
There's ball.
All I gotta say is she's lucky this UConn team isn't healthy. And that's a true statement.
That's not. That's wrong, Molly.
Monica,
that's wrong, Molly. Molly,
like
it's
five
excuses.
top players,
it's excuses,
am I right?
Molly. It's excuses.
Major injury.
You would not be saying that if it wasn't UConn.
Major stars not playing.
Listen, excuse me. Go. It's her against Caitlin Clark.
Stephen A.
Ain't no excuses.
Stephen
you
A.
got there. Don't want to hear that now.
Stephen A.
Let me tell you, if Georgetown
Beckers,
get back in the mix, I'm going to be insufferable. I'm just telling you that now.
What?
If Paige Beckers didn't basically miss 2 seasons, I don't know if we'd be talking about Caitlin Clark the way we are now.
Now we get to see a New York Liberty versus Minnesota wins final. I can't even name one player on any of them.
Been able to improve
and try
to take things from game to game to
It's Boston and it's
How does the WNBA even like this happen?
There's a reason 12 million people are watching ESPN for a game. If that game was on CBS, they probably would have had 25, 30 million people watching that game.
The WNBA are lost.
The Indiana Fever has been in the paint.
Clear to see.
Drives at Griner, spins, Griner sticks with her, Boston wins the battle.
Aggressively at the point of attack, and that's exactly what LA does.
Without Caitlin.
And welcome on the other side of the ball, Caitlin Clark is just doing
once again.
100.
And it looks like we're not going to be seeing Caitlin Clark play basketball again for another 200 days. An ESPN reporter said at the end of the Indiana Fever Connecticut Sun Game 2 that Caitlin Clark almost definitely will not be playing basketball this offseason. So no overseas and no 3-on-3 unrivaled league.
Aya Wilson so and the Las Vegas Aces have been a dominant force throughout the WNBA season.
It's a 3-ball.
The team entered the playoffs. As one of the top contenders,
Noelle Quinn is incensed right now.
Take control of the game is call the fouls that are actually happening. However, the semifinal matchup against the New York Liberty
Incredible shape. She understands her role, and this is an excellent 45-degree cut.
Delivered a strong performance.
Situational defense will be better because they have all those things. I think that's a combination of why they're going to have a much better defensive effort.
The Las Vegas Aces not only ended the team's championship aspirations, but also removed
they did not win against the Fever one game last season, and the last game of the season was an overtime one where she dropped 36 points.
Caitlin Clark's the most valuable, most important person in the WNBA this year, and should have been unanimous Rookie of the Year.
The unanimous MVP title typically comes with expectations. Fans and analysts
Clark will be the highest scoring rookie season last year. As Clark gets by Beckers.
It was, I think, my second full court workout
eliminated. It not only affected the team's chances, but also took away
and Smith struggled to pull it down, and it's Clark who sets sail for the other end.
She wants to win, and that's been really fun. And
getting a few more
to compete for the championship.
Being disrespectful, but they talked a lot of trash and they got humbled, and I think that that's okay. That is sports. That is what we live for in sports.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark just doing a little bit of everything, but moving really well without the basketball and just good community defense. But on the other side of the ball, Caitlin Clark is just doing
the most exciting athletes to watch from the WNBA.
Howard with numbers. Bounce pass ahead. Mitchell, shot goes.
were eliminated from the playoffs by the Connecticut Sun.
There's been a lot of talk about Caitlin Clark.
Lost a significant amount of their appeal. The excitement that usually comes with WNBA playoff games to vanish. Without Clark, the games felt less intense, less thrilling, and frankly, less enjoyable for many fans.
And to act like there isn't or hasn't been legitimate resentment emanating from those who are pioneers. Nobody's fooled here. You got pundits who used to play in the WNBA, some of them who didn't, and who were speaking on behalf of those who didn't want to create that kind of noise themselves because of the negative impact. We talk about it when the men do it. If we detect jealousy, if we detect envy, if we detect resentment, and it's amongst the fellas, we put it out there. Shit, we act like it's the latest episode of General Hospital. But when the ladies are feeling that way about another young lady like Caitlin Clark, and people like myself and Shay Shay call it out, suddenly it's a problem.
The absence of a
this
player
pass
like
right here
Caitlin Clark
puts it right where Kelsey Mitchell can catch it in stride.
It's the loss of an entire experience.
Austin's been held to 4 points in the first half. Here is Clark. Launches.
Trying to speak into existence as 6 or 7 players averaging double figures. They believe the last season and into this year.
And what was left was a playoff
Such a great
back and unexciting for the WNBA. This was a significant blow. The playoffs are supposed to be the pinnacle of the season, the time when the best players shine and fans are glued to their screens. But without Clark, the playoffs turned into what many described as a misery and a mess.
Ever since, Angel Reese had that injury, to me, and also coming off of Olympic break, Caitlin Clark separated herself. Yeah. She should have been unanimous. Now, to celebrate her, one thing that people forget is as a rookie, she was the most blitzed player in the WNBA, and she still put up 19, 5, and 8 assists.
After Caitlin Clark's exit, the WNBA experienced
into
one of the most
early hole here. Clark looking to get going.
In its history,
the other night had a season high 18 points. Here's Boston turning the corner, dishing to Hull.
The numbers don't lie once Clark was out of the competition. The viewership began to plummet.
Shot clock down
the
to 7.
Wasn't gradual.
Howard back it up.
Was sharp and immediate, reflecting just how much of a draw Clark is for the league. The WNBA, like any professional sports league, relies heavily on viewership for its success. Television ratings are crucial, during sponsorships, advertising deals, and even broadcasting rights. When the viewership drops, so do the league's opportunities to grow and expand its audience. The sudden decline in viewers following Clark's elimination is a clear indicator of just how important she is to the league's overall success. For many fans,
here with Indiana.
The excitement of the playoffs was directly tied to Caitlin. Clark's performances, her ability to dominate a game, to make incredible plays that leave fans in awe, was a key reason why people were tuning in. Once she was out, the game simply didn't have the same appeal. Fans weren't as interested in watching teams without Clark, and this was reflected in the viewership numbers. This decline cannot be overstated. The WNBA had been enjoying a steady increase in popularity, with more fans tuning into the games. But without Caitlin Clark, the league saw a massive drop in those numbers, a decline that could have long-term consequences if the league doesn't find a way to keep fans engaged without relying solely on it. Biggest stars, while many factors can contribute to a decline in viewership,
is with her head up here navigating, sees that 2 defenders are bouncing around beautiful because it looked like she was going to take the shot.
Clark is not just a player, she's a phenomenon.
Showing
her ability to capture the attention of viewers is unparalleled.
Nice look from Clark, and Smith plays it.
So I woke up. Tuesday I was here, I got treatment.
It's important to understand just how much of an impact Clark has on viewership. When she's on the court, fans are drawn in
be more aggressively at the point of attack, and that's exactly what LA does.
Undeniable presence.
Mitchell
she has a way of making every game feel important.
She is so good at shooting.
Respond to that,
Clark,
whether it's her scoring ability or her clutch performances in key moments.
Their teammates' backs.
Clark brings something to the
exactly
game
what
that
you
few other players
out of fierce competition.
Pretty impressive for Caitlin to win Rookie of the Year in a dominant fashion when it is going to be one of the great rookie classes in the history of the league.
When she was eliminated,
600th career point. She's a 6th-year player.
Fans have been tuning in to watch Clark's journey through. The playoffs suddenly had no reason to continue watching.
I mean, we barely heard any whistles, and we just allowed them to play. Kelsey Mitchell have been intentional in the second half.
Absolutely, as Atlanta regains the lead here.
Running with Colson. Oh, Caitlin Clark is one of them.
Some trickery behind.
Without her, the playoffs lost
Clark
a huge
inside,
portion of their
runs into
audience.
traffic. Flip.
Hats off to the Fever on a great season. I don't think anybody expected them to make the playoffs after starting 1-8. They had a tremendous second half of the season. That Olympic break was much needed. But Caitlin Clark, she just completely changed around the WNBA culture, and she completely changed around the Indiana Fever's culture for the future. And the future is bright for the Indiana Fever. And I'm so happy that, Caitlin Clark came into the WNBA light, and fans get to actually watch her and see what she...
Caitlin Clark isn't just one of the best players in the WNBA. She's the face of the league. Her ability to draw in viewers
of the third quarter.
is unmatched,
Indiana 70.
and she's become the central figure in the WNBA's efforts to grow its audience. When people think of the WNBA,
I just want to ask you,
Caitlin Clark is often the first player that comes to mind, and for good reason.